Pleasant morning. I am Shermaid Balusan. You can call me Teacher Sheng in short. I will be your teacher for today. Requesting everybody to please stand up for a prayer. Yes, Kabanday, kindly lead a prayer. Before you sit down, kindly pick up pieces of papers under your chairs and arrange your chairs also. Please be seated. How are you, my dear students? Sounds great. I'm sure you still remember our topic that was discussed yesterday. So is there anyone who can recall our topic yesterday? Yes, those are the 8 parts of speech, namely noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. Before we proceed to our lesson, let us have an exercise. Give me a sign, and what you're going to do is to look for the signs posted here and use modal verbs to write sentences for each one. Write your answers on your notes, and later on we'll see if your answers are all correct. So this will be your first exercise. Okay, students, you may now answer. And now, do you have an idea of what lesson will be discussed today? Alright, now let us have the objective first. At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to first define modal verbs, second, apply modal verbs in constructing a sentence, then lastly, appreciate the value of modal verbs in real life by composing a song or an essay about distance learning. Who among you here can give the definition about modals? If you want to answer, you raise your right hand. Yes, Mr. Enriquez, please. Alright. Without further ado, let's go and explore more about modal verbs. By the way, modals are also called modal verbs, modal auxiliary verbs, and modal auxiliaries. These are a small class of auxiliary verbs used to express ability, permission, obligation, prohibition, probability, possibility, and advice. This is just what the modal verbs can help explain further for the verb that follows. These are the use of modal verbs. This includes ability, permission, obligation, prohibition, probability, possibility, and advice. Then thankfully, modal verbs are easier to understand with examples because there is actually quite short list of these unique behaving verbs. Below is the list of modal verbs, and here they are. The first is can, could, may, might, must, shall, should, will, and lastly we have would. We have here the examples of sentences containing modal verbs. From the modal verb can, we have I can run. The modal verb can is impacting the verb run, and the modality expressed here is ability. Second example, can I borrow your trainers? This sentence shows that the modal verb can is impacting the verb borrow. But now you may notice that the modality is different. This time, the modality expressed is permission because the individual is seeking permission to borrow. From the modal verb may, we have I may swim tomorrow. May is being used here to express both possibility and probability. From the second example, may I swim tomorrow? In this sentence, we have simply moved the positioning of the words to create a new sentence. In this case, the individual is seeking permission, so the modality is permission again. Next, we have from the modal verb must. You must raise your hand before you speak. From the first sentence, the modal verb must is being used to express the modality of obligation by impacting the verb raise. The speaker is telling somebody what they are obliged to do. So must is being used to show that raising your hand is an obligation. The second example is, you must not speak out of turn. In this sentence, by adding the word not between the modal verb and the verb speak, the modality is being expressed in prohibition because the speaker is telling somebody what they are prohibited from doing. Lastly, we have the example from the modal verb should. The first sentence, you should sing more often. This sentence is used to express the modality of advice. This is because the modal verb should is being used to indicate that somebody is giving the advice to sing more to somebody else. The second example, I should visit my mother. Here, the speaker is stating that they should visit their mother, which hints at an obligation. But whether or not that will lead to obligation. This will be your criteria for creating an essay about distance learning. The first one, we have critical understanding of material, which is equivalent to 15%. Organization of thoughts, equivalent to 10%. And lastly, the appropriate use of models, which is equivalent to 10%, and that will be the total of 35%. Alright, time is up. Pass your papers in front. Are we clear? Do you have any suggestions, comments, reactions? And if none, let's have a pair activity. Find a partner and the other one will write the following questions. Listen carefully because I will just read the question once. The first question, what is modal verbs? The second one, why is it important to learn about modals? And lastly, create sentences from the given modal verb. Can, may, must, will, and should. Now, for your assignment, divide yourselves into two groups again and compose some lyrics out of any song containing a modal verb. Copy this. And each group will present the song on the next meeting. Everybody stand for a closing prayer. Let us pray. Alright, class. Have a happy weekend and goodbye.